My dear students of Rajaputra Model College English Medium section, how are you? I know you are not that much fine in this situation because you are forcefully confined in your residence, so you are not in your regular routine. But for a better future, we have no alternative of doing this. Today, I shall deliver my fifth video lecture for the students of class 9. This lecture is important for the students of class 10 also because the next exam, that is pre-test exam, includes this chapter. This lecture is important for the 11 and 12 students also because in college level this chapter is given and it is discussed in elaborately. So let us start. We shall discuss today at first the definition of periodic properties. Then we shall discuss metallic property, that is we shall discuss the changes of metallic properties of the elements in the periodic table. Then we shall discuss non-metallic properties and their changes. Then we shall discuss about submetals or metalloids. Let us start with the definition of periodic properties. The properties of the elements which change gradually with the increase of atomic number from left to right in a period and from top to bottom in a group are known as periodic properties. You all know that there are 7 periods and 18 groups in the periodic table. There are some properties which changes gradually from left to right in a period and from top to bottom in a group also. Those properties are known as periodic properties. Now I'd like to give you clear idea about the term periodic change. Which changes or which properties are known as periodic properties? Let us see the definition of periodic change. The change that occurs gradually and repeats after a definite interval is known as periodic change. I have given 3 examples for your clarification. Number 1, the days of the week. A week starts with Sunday, then Monday comes, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. After Saturday, the same day Sunday is coming. So this change of days in a week is a periodic change. That is, the change is occurring gradually, but the same day coming again after a definite interval. In the periodic table, we will find that there are some properties which will change from left to right in this way. They will change from left to right gradually, but the element with same property will come again after a definite interval. We shall discuss it in the next slide. I have given another example for understanding periodic change clearly. The months of the year. A year starts with January, then February comes, then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Finally, December comes. After December, that is after 12 months, the same month January comes again. So the change of the months of the year is also a gradual change and it repeats after a definite interval. For this reason, this change also is also a periodic change. Another example, the voice sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. After ni, the same voice sa is coming again. So the change is a periodic change. I hope that you have got clear idea about periodic change and you will now understand the definition of periodic properties well. Let us repeat the definition. The properties of the elements which change gradually with the increase of atomic number from left to right in a period and from top to bottom in a group are known as periodic properties. Today we shall discuss metallic properties of elements first. Metallic property of elements is a periodic property. For understanding that metallic property is a periodic property, we have to understand these points clearly. Number 1 point, the elements which lose one or more electrons to produce cation during reaction are metals. Which elements are metal? You all know that the elements which can lose electron during reaction are known as metals. Which elements are more metallic? The elements which can lose electron easily are more metallic. Now, which elements can lose electron easily? Point number 2, the element with less number of electron in the valence shell can lose electron easily and more metallic. I would like to elaborate this point with an example. Sodium has 1 electron in the valence shell. If you write the electronic configuration, that sodium contains 1 electron in the third energy level. Next element, magnesium, contains 2 electrons in the valence shell. Since magnesium contains more number of electron in valence shell, it is tough to release electron for magnesium than sodium. That is, sodium can lose electron easily than magnesium, because sodium has 1 electron in the valence shell, but magnesium has 2 electrons in the valence shell. And now let us see the point again. Point number 2, element with less number of electron in the valence shell can lose electron easily and more metallic. So sodium will be more metallic than magnesium. Similarly, aluminium contains 3 electrons in the valence shell, so aluminium is less metallic than magnesium. Now point number 3, elements having same number of electrons in the valence shell, which is bigger in size, can lose electron easily and more metallic. I think you have become clear about the change in period, that is from left to right. What about top to bottom in a group? In a group, all the elements contain same number of electrons, but the metallic properties are not same. In a group, as we go down from top to bottom, in every case an extra energy level is added, that is the atomic size increases gradually. Since the atomic size increases gradually, so the distance between the valence shell electron and the nucleus also increases. For this reason, the attraction between the nucleus and the outermost energy level decreases gradually. Let us take the example of potassium and rubidium. Potassium has 4 energy levels. It has 1 electron in the outermost energy level. Rubidium has 5 energy levels. It has also same number of electron, that is 1 electron in the energy level. But since rubidium has 5 energy levels, it is bigger in size, so the distance between the valence shell electron, which is to be lost by the element, and nucleus is more in case of rubidium than potassium. So the electron of the outermost energy level in rubidium is loosely bound than in potassium. For this reason, rubidium can lose electron easily than potassium. So rubidium will be more metallic than potassium. Cesium has 6 energy levels. Next element, cesium has 6 energy levels. So it has more bigger size, and the distance between the nucleus and the valence shell is more. So the attraction between the nucleus and valence shell electron is less here. So it can more easily lose electron than rubidium, and so on. That is, the metallic property increases from top to bottom in a group. So I think that you are convinced that the metallic property is changing gradually both in period and group. Now what is the summary? The summary is in point number 4. Metallic property decreases from left to right in a period, and in number point 5, metallic property increases from top to bottom in a group. That is all about metallic property. I think you are convinced that metallic property is a periodic property. Now we shall discuss non-metallic property, which is just opposite to the metallic property. We have to understand the points clearly. The elements which accept 1 or more electrons to produce anion during reaction are non-metals. I think you know which elements are non-metals. The elements which accept electron during chemical reaction are known as non-metals. By accepting electron, they become anion. And elements which can accept electron easily are more non-metallic. The element which can accept electron easily are more non-metallic, mind it. But you have to know which element can accept electron more easily. The elements with more number of electrons in the valence shell can accept electron easily and more non-metallic. Let us try to understand this point with the example of group 17. Group 17 elements have 7 electrons in the outermost energy level. So they are very close to 8 electrons in the valence shell like inert gases. For this reason, the elements of group 17 can easily accept electron and they are very much non-metallic. But the elements of group 16 contains 6 electrons in the valence shell. So the power of accepting electron by these elements is less than that of the elements of group 17. So the elements of group 16 is less non-metallic than the elements of group 17. What about the elements of group 15? They contains 5 electrons in the valence shell. So they are less non-metallic than the elements of group 16 and 17. So what is the summary? What is the change in the period? In a period, non-metallic property increases from left to right. That is, non-metallic property decreases from right to left, which is just opposite to metallic property. Now what about the change of non-metallic property in a group? Look at this point. The elements having same number of electrons in the valence shell, which is smaller in size, can accept electron easily and more non-metallic. Let us think about the example of oxygen and sulfur. They are the elements of the same group, that is of group 16. Both of them contain 6 electrons in the outermost energy level, but the size of oxygen is smaller than that of sulfur because oxygen has 2 energy levels but sulfur has 3 energy levels. For this reason, the size of oxygen is smaller than that of oxygen. Since the size of oxygen is smaller in size, so they can attract electron easily in the valence shell. For this reason, they can easily accept oxygen can easily accept electron than sulfur. So non-metallic property of oxygen is more than that of sulfur. The next element, selenium, has 4 energy levels, so the attraction for the electron is less in selenium than sulfur. So non-metallic property decreases from top to bottom in a group, that is increases from bottom to top in a group. So what is the summary? Non-metallic property increases from left to right in a period, but non-metallic property decreases from top to bottom in a group, just opposite to metallic property. Our next discussion is submetals or metalloid. Which are submetals? The elements which sometimes behave like a metal and sometimes behave like a non-metal are known as submetals. The examples are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, etc. These elements lies between metal and non-metal in the periodic table. Sorry. Look at this. In any period, the elements in the left side are metals. In any period, the elements in the left side are metals. The elements in the right side, that is this side, are non-metals, and the elements in between metal and non-metals are submetals. Look at this area. Aluminium is a metal, phosphorus is a non-metal. The element between aluminium and phosphorus is silicon. It has some properties of the metals and it has some properties of the non-metals also. So silicon is known as a submetal. Similarly, arsenic is a submetal, antimony is a submetal. So in the periodic table, submetals are placed in between metal and non-metal. So you have got the idea about metallic property, about non-metallic property, and you have got the idea which elements are submetals. This is the last discussion of today's class. Now I have given you some homework. Number one question, what are periodic properties? Then number two, metallic property is a periodic property, you have to explain. Then non-metallic property is also a periodic property, explain. Number four, what are submetals and metalloid? I have given you some MCQ question. Please solve this MCQ question from your own, by your own, and get preparation for the next class. I shall deliver my next class within 3 or 4 days, and have a study from your textbook. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay home, stay safe, stay well. Thank you.